the three stages or the three pathways that are associated with the increased solar activity that we are having here in 2020. This is the topic that I am discussing and sharing with you guys in this video. And it came to me very specifically, and I felt very led and compelled to share the practical and scientific tips that I have come to know, as well as the psychic downloads and information that I have come to be aware of. I felt very strongly compelled to share this with you guys and share it in this way. It specifically came to me in like this 3-stage or 3-pathway kind of map or format, if you would. So of course I have my tarot in hand, and so I'm going to get us 3 cards. But let me start with just some of the other information and the science that we know that is occurring. So of course this increase in solar activity is not being discussed, is not being disclosed very much with mainstream media. And that's often the case when it comes to any kind of astrological phenomena or any kind of cosmic phenomena. The mainstream media usually does not talk about it. Usually. And so you really have to find this stuff for yourself, and keep up with like the NASA page and the articles NASA produces, as well as other scientific journals and sources. So anyways, they're out there. As always, I like to encourage you guys to search for this information after I give it to you. Look for it yourself, research yourself. It is important to be a critical thinker, especially in 2020 here, where we have so much censorship and control of information trying to be, trying to dominate, I guess I should say. So, a recent article that NASA released spoke of the increased solar activity, solar flares, and just a lot of, energy happening with our sun, with the star that rules our galaxy, or our solar system, I should say. And we have not seen an increase, this large of an increase with the solar activity and potential solar flares for many years. In fact, the last big one we saw was 100 or so years ago. It's been a long time. And the ancients always talked about this increase in the increase in solar activity to be a period of enlightenment. Think of the sun, right? It is light. A period of enlightenment and a period of shift and transformation, especially when it comes to humanity's conscious awareness and cognitive ability, heart and brain coherence, the whole 9 yards. Now, of course, NASA and other scientists still largely kind of deny, the sun doesn't have any influence on human beings, which is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. I mean, let's be real. The sun makes our plants grow, makes our food supply grow. Without the sun, we would not have the plant life that we have. We would not have life in general. We literally can harness energy and power to power, our electrical tools. We can literally use the sun in that way solar panels and everything. We already know the sun has a ton of influence. Science has confirmed that we are made up of photons, and I know some of you have heard me talk about this before. And the definition of a photon is essentially a light particle. We are made up of particles of light. Okay? If you're not too familiar with the subject of photons and our biological makeup of them and such, that's another thing I encourage you to research for yourself. So, why wouldn't knowing that information and knowing that knowledge, why wouldn't the sun affect us, right? In a big way. So, just some points and critical thinking points I would like to bring up. Right now we also have Saturn, Mars, and the sun itself currently in their home signs. I believe we have at least one other planet, I want to say it's Uranus, in their home sign right now as well. But I know for sure those three, Saturn, Mars, and the sun, are in their home sign. And of course, who do we associate with the sun? What star constellation? Leo. Leo season is upon us. So, we are in the midst of it, and it is ruled by the sun. So, especially towards the end of Leo season, which we are basically, in the end stages, phases here of 2020's Leo season, we can see this activity peak and feel it within our bodies, just the downloads from the light waves, from that summer heat. This is real stuff. And all these other alignments, like I said, that we have going on here too, it's no coincidence. It's very powerful. This is something that there's been a few professionals who've been talking about for several years and have been predicting, with these solar changes and the changes and evolvement and growth of humanity and the conscious upgrades, graduating, what some would say, graduating to our light bodies. And David Wilcock has spoken on this. I believe Greg Braden has, Dr. Joe Dispenza, all these other names that you can look up at another time as well if you want. So, go ahead and show you the first card that we have out, showing up for the first stage in regards to the solar activity. Two of Pentacles. Infinite flow of information, constant, rapid change of resources. Our resources with global resources all over the world, our trade. That's coming up big time with this. It's one of the first stages, which of course we've already been seeing in the world. So that's pretty beautiful. Something else I'd like to point out too, at the beginning of the year here, we had the COVID-19 corona pandemic begin. And of course, we've had a lot of controversial information and what some might say truths come out in regards to that. And I wanted to share with y'all, for those of you who don't know this already, the definition of corona. Okay, so knowing everything that I've just talked about, the solar activity and what's going on, the increase that we haven't seen in many, many years, and what this means for humanity and humanity's conscious growth. The definition of corona is the rarefied gaseous envelope of the sun and other stars, the glow around a conductor at high potential, a wreath or crown, part of the body likened to a crown. And I like that last definition that I found and the connection there, because what is the crown of a human? And when we think of the chakra system, our energy bodies, the crown is up here, top of the head, right? This is the source, the place where we download spiritual and cosmic information most. And this is where, up here, the top chakra, the crown chakra, which is what it's called, that is where we consciously develop and grow. Changes, literal biological changes to the human brain, the human makeup, okay, through light. And science has proven, guys, this is proven by science, that light carries information. Okay, and that's why we're seeing a lot more discovery and whatnot coming out about our electromagnetic field and how it's connected to the electromagnetic frequencies that are produced from the sun and so on. Okay, because that's an exchange. It's a field around our body that exchanges information with other people, with the cosmos, our sun. It is a form of how we exchange information and how we upgrade. Okay, this is part of the big evolvement here in 2020 and stepping into this new age. So the second stage, we're just kind of moving all over the place here. I decided to do this video live. I tried to do it pre-recorded so it'd be better quality for you guys, but it was not working out. So here I am, live it is. Second stage, we have the Ace of Wands showing up. Fire energy. Of course it had to show up here. A cleansing through light is what I'm getting immediately with this. And of course, aces are about brand new beginnings and visions, inspirations with our system, with our social system, with our financial system in the world, with our trade system, all of it. Remember here the first stage with the Two of Pentacles, talking about trade, our resources, and a continuous sort of cycle of adjustment and editing there, and on a global scale, on a global level. First altering the physical reality of things, the systems and food supply, structures. This is first tackling and changing the plans and systems and structures that we have in place right now. So back to stage 2, with the Ace of Wands. I really am getting strongly too that this is about receiving in spiritual downloads of information, of wisdom that we have not had before. This is also more disclosure, whether it's disclosure from our governments around the world, whether it's disclosure from independent sources, who are leaking information. I really do see this Ace of Wands too as, in stage 2, starting to get more disclosure around things like the secret space program, extraterrestrial life, and the interaction that we have had already with them, making an appearance, giving us some technology, or some technology that is coming out now in the open that we've probably had for a long time, but the public is now just seeing this disclosure of this new powerful technology. Second stage, I see that happening. And what do we have at the top? The third stage. The ultimate direction of all of this energy, all of this increased solar activity. The Star card. And what is this? This is also the Aquarius card. Okay, in the northern hemisphere, we are in the Aquarian age. Okay, I'm sure many of you have been listening to this, are already on board with this. We're shifting ages. So what does this mean specifically? The third stage is unifying more with our star family. I mean, look at that beautiful connection. Unifying more with our galactic star family. So extraterrestrial interaction. I feel this very strongly. What else does Aquarius rule? The science of astrology, actually, the study of the stars, that peaking. All interaction, of course, with that. And comes with that the increase in technology. What we thought to be impossible, what we thought was just sci-fi or fantasy in the past, manifesting now in reality, especially over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. 2020 has started this sort of chain reaction that is leading up to more and more disclosure, truth, and they're going to be big things, y'all. This is big revelations. That book Revelation in the Bible isn't called Revelation for no reason. There's some true prophecy tied to it. I definitely see in stage 2 and stage 3, but definitely, obviously, once we get to stage 3, it's going to be full blown. Many of us are going to be experiencing, with the solar flare activity, this cosmic energy, all of these alignments with the planets in their home signs, giving us powerful, strong energy. It's going to be uncomfortable, but what it is also doing for us individually is it's unifying us into that oneness consciousness, understanding fully what oneness and togetherness means. And we're going to see ourselves utilizing, tapping into psychic gifts that we thought in the past was only fantasy. Psychic gifts such as, telekinesis, telepathic communication, flying, different methods of flying, using more light and sound therapy and tools. All of that big disclosure, big shift and change. I mean, this is going from what we have felt was possible, what we envisioned and fantasized and dreamed was possible, now biologically, chemically, physically showing up, becoming possible. That is what this is, especially once we get to stage 3. The solar activity, whether that means we're going to be getting spouts of solar flares that affect our Earth and therefore us, or whether that just means we're going to be feeling the effects of the electromagnetic energy. In light and electromagnetic energy 100% changes and upgrades, I like to say, our biology. It does. Now, it's a fly. In traditional science, of course, we weren't taught that. But science, as it should, has been growing, has been evolving, has been changing, and we've seen more and more scientists come forward with this information. And so it is something that is already being confirmed scientifically, factually, if you will. But many of us, especially those of us who are tapped in and already have intuitive psychic gifts, we've already known this. The ancient shamans and spiritual leaders already knew this. So, as always, science is finally catching up, but has been behind. But this is beautiful. One of the best things that you can do for yourself right now through this process, and many of us have the extra time, many are unemployed right now, or working less, so we have more time to reflect, to contemplate, to turn inward, and that is what is showing up on the bottom of the deck here with the Hanged Man. Sitting with this energy, letting it seep in, giving yourself a lot more meditative time and time to simply rest and take in all of the disclosure, all of the truths that are coming through. There's a lot of information that is being thrown at us already that is going to be made available to us more. It's going to be a quicker, more fast-paced release of information, release of secrets that we have seen ever. Definitely within our lifetimes. And I think because we are in Leo season, which is ruled by the sun, we're going to see more of this enlightenment and literal solar activity and releases from the sun. The elite, the cabal, those who have been corrupt in power, whatever you want to call them, they've known about this for a while. Many of them are still trying to hold on to their power, to their control. to the deception, but it's not gonna last. There's nothing that they can do, and they know this. There's nothing that they can do to control this powerful release that is coming from our sun, that is removing the shroud that has made us blind, that has made us suppressed, has been suppressing our psychic sight, our third eye. It's been suppressing our overall growth. That shroud is being removed. When the veil is completely lifted, and it is being completely lifted, when we have the final breakthrough, it's going to be shocking. For some people, it's going to be a little too psychologically shocking that they might kind of freeze up, and the anxiety and just the feels will be almost too much for some people. But for a lot of people, especially if you're watching this, you're probably already primed. You're already in the know. So you're prepared. And if you have some sort of level of, psychological and conscious preparement like that, this is going to be a lot more exciting and liberating for you, because ultimately that is what this energy is, especially once we get to stage 3 with the star here. It is total liberation. Whether some of us have completely realized it or not, we have been in psychological enslavement, psychological prison for quite a long time. And that imprisonment is ending. I'm going to get one final message here just to kind of tie in all 3 stages here that we're moving through with this solar activity and energy. Remember, guys, I want to encourage you to look some of this up. Whoa. Okay, I just had 2 cards flip over. I encourage you guys to look some of this up yourself on NASA. Look at what's going on in the sky with our sun. There's information out there. It's not necessarily very specific, but it's enough. It's enough for you to put the pieces together and to understand what I'm talking about if you need more of that clarity, or if you just want to see more confirmation. So look it up and check out some of those other names like Dr. Joe Dispenza, David Wilcock, Greg Braden. I know there's other names out there. Those are just the top 3 that come to my mind. So real quick here, the confirmation or just extra information we got here is the 8 of Cups and the Tower. So we have another Aquarian energy popping out here. Powerful. And I'm getting this feeling here, the upcoming Leo new moon that we have is going to be a game changer. That's when we're going to see a lot of this cleansing and breakthrough energy. I mean, the Tower is like the ultimate breakthrough energy. And so the Leo new moon is in about 1 week from the time I'm releasing this video, from the time I'm filming this. So it's not far off. With every breakthrough comes some sort of breakdown, some sort of great breakdown and release, right? We're seeing it already. I know especially you intuitive individuals joining me in this video, you don't need to see this. We already see this going on in the world right here. Many of these tower moments, destabilization, the fall, the crumble of systems, perceptual control, I think this is a big political system cleansing to our political system, but it's a cleansing and rebuilding of many systems. Like I talked about earlier, financial system, religion, our resources, our value, our work schedules, time itself. It's a complete redo and rebuild we have going on. The best thing we can do is accept. I get with the Eight of Cups here, there's just this acceptance and also this energy of there's no need to feed and fuel the fire. A lot of us are going to be tempted. We are in a fire season. A lot of us are going to be tempted to react. But it's really going to serve us best if we simply allow for this system change in our society, in our world, and to do so with grace. Call those qualities in: grace, peace, acceptance, and practicing being a lot more present. The Eight of Cups is definitely a card of meditation, so that can obviously help. And just be affirmed and encouraged that it's okay to walk away from what you have known to be true in the past. Because what was true in the past is not going to be true and helpful now. It's not going to be as useful now. So even though that relationship worked in the past, or even though that system worked in the past, even though that job worked in the past, even though that belief and that sort of routine of yours worked in the past, it is not going to work here moving forward. This is a beautiful time of change and reinvention, okay? But we have to see the collapse of those old ways, patterns, systems, relationships, values. We have to see the collapse of those things in order to get to this beautiful, empowered stage of true liberation and manifestation, and reality is going to be very different, guys. Reality is changing as we know it. And it does not have to be scary or intimidating. Let me reiterate that. It does not have to be scary or intimidating. It doesn't have to be. Essentially, for all of us, as a collective, as a humanity, we are being invited to simply take the time to process right now, to digest the information and the changes. It doesn't mean that you can't stand up for yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But largely, we're being invited to just be a lot more accepting and to process and to allow our minds to relax, and in that relaxation, expand and more willingly, with ease, receive in divine information and wisdom that is groundbreaking, that's life-changing. There's going to be a switch that is going to be flipped, and once that switch is flipped, it's going to be so different, but exciting, and it's going to kind of be like turning on new senses. Think of it as like cats, for instance. Okay, cats especially. They have a level of hearing, a level of sight even, that humans do not have, that we're not able to access right now. Some of us maybe. But essentially, we're sort of graduating to that level where it's like our senses are expanding. Where here very soon, we're going to have the senses that a cat has. And this is just an example, we're going to be able to like pick up on the frequencies and the sounds and the images that cats pick up on, that they hear, that they see. So think of it like that. Those frequencies, those vibrations, those dimensions are there because we have other creatures here on Earth who can pick up on that maybe better than we can sometimes. And so we know it's real. But for us, and us being able to use those senses and gifts, that is coming. Whole new level. And it's coming, on a broad spectrum, where it's affecting all of us. So powerful. So powerful. I do intuitively feel like we are still in stage 1, the Two of Pentacles. So, it's okay to feel this back and forth being pulled, here and there. That's how it is, especially in the media with all the different storylines and information being presented. You're going to feel that pull, that back and forth, that bouncing around like a ping pong ball. The waves of your emotions, your anxiety, depression, that just the anxiousness, it's very real, like these waves in the image here. Stage 1 is the most uncomfortable, but it gets better and it gets better as we move along. We are coming up to stage 2, and this is the light bulb moment. We're coming up to that light bulb stage moment. True inspiration, a new level of energization, clarity, and just magic is coming in stage 2. And there's a connection being made with us at large, and we'll see more of that truly unfold here in stage 3. It is the Aquarius age. This is an awesome card of conscious awareness, enhancement, evolvement. I love this. I'm not too scared. I'm not too nervous with the stages that have showed up here. Are you? So drop me a comment, let me know your thoughts and feelings below. I'd love to know maybe your perception on what's going on or the cards that showed up here. And I think that's essentially all I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah. Obviously, if more comes through, I might make another video here live or pre-recorded, whatever. I'm needing to take a little bit more time for myself with this energy. Definitely that 8 of Cups energy is real for me. So that's why I'm doing less right now. But I will try to do some live readings here in the near future. I have many plans and ideas going on with the launch of my new website, which will be happening hopefully soon. But everything is kind of in limbo right now. And that's probably because we're in stage 1 here, 2 of Pentacles. There's a lot of sort of up and down energy, and it's hard to sort of create strong foundational things right now, so, you know. Oh, thank you, AS. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, so take care of yourself and embrace these 3 stages that we're going through. It's been years and years and years, like I said, since we've seen this kind of solar activity peak and increase. It could affect our grid, sure, it could, affect our technology and things like that. But ultimately, it's a graduation to what the ancients called our light body. Becoming more God-like. That's another way of putting it. So it's very exciting. Alright, take care, my awesome star tribe. Talk soon.